Hey YouTube family, it has been a while since I put a video out. I figured we're all shut in, we have a little bit extra time on our hands. I thought what better time for me to do a What's in My Camera Bag 2020 video. This video was inspired by my friend Mark Curtin, who lives in the south of England. He's a sports photographer, mainly shoots soccer or football, as it were, along with other sports. So if you wouldn't mind giving him a look, a subscribe, and watch a few of his videos. He's a very good photographer, loves his craft, and very personable guy. Another person I wish you all look into is Brett Carlson. I'll link him also. He is another sports photographer. He's based here in the US. I believe he's in Tennessee. Primarily shoots for Getty, and again he shoots a lot of NFL and a lot of sports. He has been lucky enough to branch out into some other types of editorial photography, but do look him up as well. He also has a podcast he runs with a guy whose name totally escapes me, but he's the lead photographer for the Houston Texans football team. Another NFL guy. So do give those guys a like. And the final guy I'll pitch is my friend from Sweden, Martin Bodsvitsen something. I'll link him down below. He's a product photography guy, not so much a sports guy, but a product photography guy. Does some outstanding videos on product photography, lighting, and the techniques he uses for some very high-end brands. So do give them a look. Let's get this going. The first camera I'm going to talk about is one I'm filming this with. That is my Lumix GH5 with a 12-35 lens on it. On top of that is my my little Shure video microphone, which has got great, it's served me great for 2 or 3 years on my videos. That's my kind of my go-to camera setup for the last 2 or maybe 3 years now is a GH5. I love it for that purpose. For still photography and land photography, it's good, but I'm more of a Canon shooter, which I'll show you here in just a second. The camera is mounted on a Manfrotto tripod with just a standard ball head on that. And then to my left, to your right, is a Mi Photo stand holding a little side light, so you can really grasp the fullness that is me. My bag that I am using, I just had this for a week now, and I'll show a picture of it right there, is the Peter McKinnon Nomadic camera bag. It is a beast, it is large. I don't really think it's a daily carry type bag. You certainly could, but it is designed to hold an awful lot of equipment for a shoot that you might be doing over a day or two, maybe remotely, or as an accessory bag for as a carry-on for doing your camera equipment and also your clothes, t-shirts, and what have you for travel. It is a larger bag, but very well thought out and designed. So let me hop into the bag right now. My current favorite camera is my 1DX Mark III. Ha, I wish. It is my 5D Mark IV. I've had this camera for about 5 months now and absolutely love this camera. It is, in my opinion, very versatile for shooting everything from landscapes, wildlife, portraits, headshots, to some sporting events. It doesn't have the high shutter rate as a 7D, for example, or 1DX Mark II or Mark III, but it does just fine in most sporting situations. Bolted onto this body is my favorite lens by far, and that is the 70-200 2.8 Canon lens. This is the version 3 lens. There's very little difference between the version 2 and the version 3. They did change the color of the body a little bit from, I think it went from a bit more white to more of a gray white, which is just an aesthetic thing. And then they did change the coating on the lenses. But as far as the lenses inside, the internal mechanisms, all of the happy little things inside of here, to the best of my knowledge, are the same with the 2 and the Model 3. The price differences are fairly much zero on the 2 and the 3. So if you get a chance to buy the 3, buy the 3. If you can only buy a used model, buy the 1 or the version 2. As a matter of fact, Mark Curtin, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name, Mark, properly. He just did a video yesterday on his 7200 that had a bit of a loose end to it, and these are able to be tightened down at home using a small Phillips head screwdriver and just a few minutes of your time to kind of put it back into a tight condition. If your warranty is expired. But really the 1, 2, or version 3 are all fantastic lenses. Anyway, my other favorite lens is my 100 macro, and this is a 2.8 L lens macro that I use primarily for obviously macro photography, and that could be either wildlife type things or product type things. But as far as product lenses are concerned, this is probably one of the best that there is on the market. I did get this one used from our friends at B&H Photo. They do have a good selection of used equipment and lenses there, and they grade them for you based upon their physical appearance and also their mechanical ability. That was a great buy for me. Saved a couple $100 on the original one. My next lens is the Canon 50mm prime. This is of the 3 that they have. They have the L lens, they have this one, then they have the cheapy version. I went to the middle on this because I don't see myself using it that often when I purchased it. I do like the lens an awful lot. The difference, and this, by the way, this lens is a 1.4, so it is a very, very shallow depth of field should you crank it open that wide. But this is a very, very functional lens. It's been great for me so far. Great optics, great quality. It's very quiet, it doesn't shake. Another couple people I've seen, I think it's called Weekly Imagen, another British group. I don't really communicate with them very often, but they did a lens shoot with a 50mm on the low end, and when you rattled it, you can actually hear the internal components kind of rattling together. I'm not a big fan of that. So I would urge you as a photographer to maybe look at the middle version of a lens as opposed to the low end of the lens if your budget approves of that. The next item in my bag is my 70D, Canon 70D. I love this camera. This was, before I bought the GH5, this was my go-to for everything, still photography and video. It is not 4K, where the Lumix is 4K, obviously cropped. This is only 1080p, but this is a fantastic camera. Very versatile. Again, it's not fast for sports. It's I think it's even slower than the 5D Mark IV. But again, just for a versatile all-around camera, this is outstanding on the 70D. And I do have the battery pack, extended battery pack on here, which is really handy for doing portrait work, for example, on this camera body, and also my 5D. I just keep it on there, again, for the same reason, for doing portraits on this one. Other things you might find in my camera bag are memory card holders. I have one that I have for my 70D, then I have one for my 5D, and inside of these you're going to find, hey, guess what, memory cards. And I have several of the Extreme Pro compact flash cards, and below them you can load in, I don't have any over there, but you can load in your SD cards over there, and even below that, the micro SD cards you can load in over there. On the 70D, I only have SD cards in that unit because it doesn't take compact flash for that camera. Also in my handy Peter McKinnon Nomadic camera bag came this little accessory box, which I think is pretty neat. It has in it some of my things that I carry with me every day, such as my Arsenal little camera remote gizmo, card reader, one solid state drive, two more solid state drives, and a third T5. What I plan on doing with these is buying one T5 to use per client, and then basically just giving them the T5 every time I dump photos off for their use, for their editorial or their marketing uses. I'll just hand them back the drive that I've dumped all my stuff back onto, and they can take off with it. I have the Lacey hardened hard drive here, and then I have a battery charger here and cable. Also in my other bag, and that's pretty much it for this bag right here. In my other bag, I do carry the Lassie or Lacey Copilot. I believe it's called the Copilot Boss. What this is able to do is you can hook up your drone or camera to it without a power source and pull the images off of your card onto this device to help free up your card if you need to do a quick change in the field, or if you're remote and don't have access to your computer or whatever. You can definitely use that. I do keep this in my other bag. Not right now, it doesn't have a home in this bag currently for that. Other bags I do tend to carry, like I said, this is fairly large bag for daily carry. I do tend to carry this Manfrotto Pro Light messenger bag. It's pretty handy. You can open this up and it's got a nice storage compartment in here for I can put my 5D Mark IV in there like that, and obviously I'd fix it better to have that in there. A couple different lenses, business cards and other things in here. It has a very roomy, in the back, very roomy padded slot back there for your laptop or for your iPad or whatever you need to use for your editing. The neat thing about this bag is in its crossbody configuration, if you want to quickly grab your camera out to take a picture, you just unzip here, reach in, pull this right out, bang, 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 pop it back in, zip it back up, Bob's your uncle. It's right there on your hip, ready to go, easy to do. It does have a nice long handle here. It's actually kind of oversized handle in my opinion here for carrying. You can also loop this over your bag for carry on to an airplane, for example. This is a really neat bag from Manfrotto. Love that. Today, and I do mean today, I haven't even taken the tags off of it yet. I did get a think tank bag courtesy of our friends at Canon Professional Services or Canon Pro Services. I got this in the mail today, which is a super cool bag. Again, it's more of a crossbody style bag. Little insert here for carrying for a camera, a couple of lenses. I don't really think, and again I haven't played with it yet, it's probably not going to be very conducive for using the 7200 lens, but really a 185, 1635, 35 to 70, they will all fit in here pretty nicely. Again, I haven't really played with this because it came today. Another carry item I use, and Martin will appreciate this, is I do carry a Tether Tools 30-foot cable with a USB-C and a USB-A for hooking in from my laptop into my 5D for doing product photography. Clients, when I'm on site doing photos with them, I can pull out my laptop or take an external monitor, and while I'm taking product photos, get instant feedback in full screen or full resolution of what we're doing versus looking at the back of a camera body, which is only everything looks good when it's that big. But I do carry this with me on all product assignments, for example. And I have these extra little doohickeys here because I'll take these, run them off of my camera, and then I'll clamp them to the tripod to kind of keep it from being a tripping hazard, because areas can get kind of confusing when you're trying to do photos and move things around and swap props out and such. It's just one less thing to get snagged on, so that's great to carry. Something else that my friend Mark Carton turned me on to was this guy. It's called the Mini Max Stool. This is super cool and I'm dying to use it. This is the one that's from Israel. I believe it's only available through either B&H Photo or through eBay, buying direct from the manufacturer. This thing is super duper cool. You just take your fingers, pop it in here, pull it out. It's a stool that you can sit on. There is also a little cushion, I have it downstairs. A little cushion that you can put out under here. But if you want to sit on a sideline, or like what Mark does on Premier League games behind the boards, you can make it to any height you want. And the particular version will hold up to 400 pounds of weight on it, which is substantial. That's way more than I weigh, and I will never ever get to that point. But a super neat deal on that. It does collapse down to a small profile like this. It does have a little strap that you can pop off and hang it off of your bag or whatever you need to take with you. But if you're at a sporting event or some type of event where you're going to be sitting down and want to have maybe a little bit lower angle to shoot up at the action, which makes people always look better than shooting down from them. This would be a super neat deal. It's about $85-ish US. It's about 100 with shipping and tax, import tax, and all that kind of jazz on it. So it's really neat item right here. And again, don't buy the Chinese knockoff, buy the original. Other lenses I may carry with me, but don't carry very often, are my EFS lenses. Now these are what you would call kit lenses. This one is not a kit lens technically, but it is, but it's not. I bought this specifically to do videos with when I was shooting on my 70D. This was my go-to lens for that. But these are more like kit lenses. I would really only use these as a backup or a B-roll type thing, but I probably haven't shot with either one of these lenses for since maybe October, November of last year. It's been quite a while since I've used these, but I do keep them around. When I come to selling this camera, all EFS lenses will go with that, because that'll be the end of my EFS mount. These are all EF mount cameras. A couple more things I do travel with. I always have a backup battery source in my bag. This one's by Anker, A-N-K-E-R. I'll link it down below. We have probably in our family 8 or 9 Anker devices, everything from bedside charging stations to these backup batteries. These are invaluable when you're out in the field. You can charge just about anything from them. This has USB, different types of USB inlets to it. And this is like a 10,000 milliamp hour, maybe 12,000 milliamp hour battery. An awful lot of power in these guys. I always have a few of these. I had them on my Tether Tools device here, these little red thingies. These things are, and again, outstanding to have as little devices you can hook things to, combine things. You put your tripod onto your bag. You can use these, for example, to hold everything in place. These are great. I buy these by the dozen, quite literally. The last thing, I'm not going to open it because it scares the hell out of me when I open it, but this is a gray card that I use when I'm doing, again, product photography, or when I need to make sure I'm color matching something properly. I'll pop out the color card, this is the gray card, put it up in the shot where I'm going to be shooting some products, take a picture of that from different lighting scenarios that I'll be using throughout the day, and then start taking the photography of the items I'm going to do. I'll maybe stop an hour in or so, take another gray shot just to make sure that I'm keying everything to the proper color tone to make sure everything stays consistent. Because the bag is fairly new and I really haven't had that long to play with it, I haven't done anything yet with this envelope, or this little case rather. This is the filter case. Again, this came with the Peter McKinnon Nomadic bag. This would hold all of your ND filters and other kind of filters. I don't have anything in here currently. This little guy is a SD card holder. I haven't used this item either, just because I've kind of got them in these containers. And then there is the battery holder, which again I haven't used obviously yet. But one of the neatest things about the battery holder is it comes with, I think it's 6 of these little dead signs on it. When your battery is, you put one of these on the end of your battery, and when your battery is expired or needs to be recharged, you put it into your holder with the skull side up, so you know at a glance which batteries are low or dead, and then which ones have power if you use this system, which I plan on doing, as haven't had a chance to do it yet. Well, that wraps up for me in my 2020 What's in My Bag video. What's in your bag? Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you maybe soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye.